3 red cards in one match. A goalkeeper who gained 2 million followers in 90 minutes. A nation that hadn't played a World Cup since 1974, scoring and holding favorites to a draw. 24 matches, 12 groups, and Matchday 1 already told us more about this World Cup than we thought. In Group A, Estadio Azteca became the first stadium in history to host matches across 3 different World Cups, 1970, 1986, and now 2026. 9 minutes in, Julian Quiñones scores the opening goal of the entire tournament. This game saw 3 red cards, 2 for South Africa, 1 for Mexico. All 3 are suspended for their team's next group game. But the real story of this match is about Raúl Jiménez, who scored his first World Cup goal at 35 years old. 6 years ago, Jiménez suffered a head injury on the pitch that was serious enough to threaten not just his career, but his life. That night, on home soil, he scored the all-important second goal. 17-year-old Gilberto Mora became the 6th youngest player to ever appear at a World Cup, joining the likes of Pelé and Samuel Eto'o. Over in Guadalajara, South Korea came from behind to beat Czechia 2-1, capping the tournament's opening day. Group B had 2 draws, with Canada playing in front of a home crowd in Toronto, earning their first World Cup point in their 3rd tournament. They were pegged back by Bosnia in a match that had energy without a decisive edge. Qatar also salvaged their first World Cup point in the dying minutes against Switzerland. These results mean match days 2 and 3 will matter far more than what just happened. Group C started with an anticipated matchup between Brazil and Morocco. Brazil came in as one of the tournament favorites, but left with a draw. Brahim Diaz struck first for Morocco, and although Brazil answered quickly through individual brilliance from Vini Jr., they couldn't find a winner. It's not a disaster, but it's not the dominant opening they wanted for Neymar's last dance. A 1-0 win over Haiti gave Scotland their first World Cup match victory since 1990. 36 years of waiting, ended by a single goal from John McGinn. For a country that spent decades on the outside of major tournaments, this is the kind of moment that means more than the scoreline shows. Group D had the most emphatic host nation statement of the tournament. A Fuller and Balogun brace helped USA put 4 past Paraguay in their opener, indicating how far they intend to proceed in the tournament on home soil. Meanwhile, Australia pulled off a result few expected, beating Turkey 2-0 in surprising but dominant fashion with Iran Kunda proving to be a rising star. Despite being tied for about 20 minutes, Germany put 7 goals past Curaçao to open Group E, a brutal scoreline for a nation playing in its first ever World Cup. But that's the gap between a 4-time champion and a debutante nation of roughly 150,000 people, and Curaçao's appearance here at all is the actual achievement, regardless of the score. Ivory Coast's 1-0 win over Ecuador was a tighter, more cagey affair, a single goal deciding a match that could easily have gone either way. Jan Diomande proved why most top European clubs are chasing his signature. The Netherlands were pegged back twice by Japan in a draw that ended up far more entertaining than anyone predicted. A genuine end-to-end thriller rather than a cautious affair. Sweden, meanwhile, put 5 past Tunisia, a dominant scoreline that immediately makes them a team to watch, with a front 2 of Alexander Isak and Victor Gyökeres showing chemistry and Premier League experience in Group F. Mohamed Salah set up Imam Ashur for the opening goal in Group G, who rifled it past Thibaut Courtois to put Egypt ahead of one of the tournament's more talented squads. Belgium needed Romelu Lukaku, who came on in the 66th minute to drag them level. Iran and New Zealand traded goals in a 2-2 draw that both sides could point to as points gained or points dropped. Individually, Iran's Ramin Razian became the nation's oldest ever World Cup scorer in this match, at 36 years old. The biggest moment of the match day happened in Group H, where Spain were held scoreless by Cape Verde, a nation of roughly 500,000 people making just their 2nd ever World Cup appearance. Their goalkeeper, Vozinha, was the reason the scoreline stayed level, a string of saves that earned him 2 million new followers within hours of the final whistle. Spain simply could not break down the defensive discipline of the underdogs. Saudi Arabia and Uruguay also drew, granting a second chance to Spain to secure top spot. France did what favorites are supposed to do, beating Senegal 3-1, with Kylian Mbappé opening the scoring with a finish from Olisua's pass and managing to cap it off with a shot from 30 yards out to make him the all-time top scorer for the French national team. Norway's 4-1 win over Iraq was part of that same stretch, with Haaland doing damage with 2 goals in a performance that has people talking about Norway as a legitimate dark horse. In one night, Mbappé, Messi, and Erling Haaland combined for 9 goals. Argentina opened Group J with a dominant 3-0 win over Algeria. Lionel Messi delivered his first World Cup hat-trick in his 6th tournament. 20 years ago, to that day, a young Messi walked out into the World Cup for the first time and scored his first ever World Cup goal. He would walk out again after 20 years to score his 14th, 15th, and 16th goals, tying Miroslav Klose's record for all-time top scorer of the biggest tournament. Austria's 3-1 win over Jordan was an entertaining but expected result. Jordan, playing in their first ever World Cup, conceded a last-minute penalty that gave Austria 3 goals for 3 points. Group K had DR Congo, who hadn't played a World Cup match since 1974, when the country competed under the name Zaire. Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, at his 6th World Cup, took an early lead through João Neves. DR Congo answered before halftime, Wissa rising at the back post to score the first World Cup goal in his nation's history. The final whistle blew on a 1-1 draw that Portugal will have a lot to work on, given Ronaldo himself fired 2 late chances wide of goal in a frustrating match for the Al Nassr player. Colombia's 3-1 win over Uzbekistan followed a similar emotional shape. Uzbekistan, coached by 2006 World Cup winner Fabio Cannavaro, scored their first ever World Cup goal to level the match at 1-1 before Colombia pulled away late, with Luis Diaz carrying over his electric Bayern form and a late goal to make it 3. Uzbekistan leaves with no points, but with a moment its football history didn't have before tonight. England and Croatia played one of the most entertaining matches of the entire matchday, trading goals throughout before England pulled clear, thanks to a late Rashford goal. Ghana's win over Panama carries a different kind of weight. Ghana won 1-0 with a stoppage-time goal in Toronto, proving redemption from missing the previous AFCON and capping off Group L. This round also saw multiple fantastic goals, from Mecher's opening goal versus Curaçao to Croatia's first goal versus England. Do you prefer Messi's first goal or his third? Mbappé scored from 30 yards out and Luis Diaz scooped a perfect aerial ball for Munoz. Comment below your favorite goal, player, or team so far. That concludes 24 matches filled with excitement, comebacks, and the magic of the World Cup. Like and subscribe because there is more than a month of the World Cup to go.